Hi, good morning and welcome to my clam chowder kitchen. Oh my gosh, it is pouring down rain here. We don't get storms like this and it has been going on for the last 3 hours. So cameraman and I thought the best thing we could do is make outrageous clam chowder. So that's what we did. We got started ahead of you and what I did here is I just took about 5 pieces of bacon and I just rendered the fat from them. I'm going to use this for a garnish at the end. Now I had quite a bit of grease and I want the clam chowder to taste like clam chowder, not like bacon chowder with undertones of clam. So what I did is I removed all of the grease that came from there except about 2 teaspoons. I left those in. Now what I'm going to do is add in 4 tablespoons of butter because I want, ouch, that was hot. So if you have hot stuff, you shouldn't be dropping stuff in, you should be putting it in. So anyway, along with my whining now about getting burned, what I want to do is I just want to get this buttery flavor mixed in with that tiny little bit of fat from the bacon, but you know what's stuck on the bottom of this is the fond. So that's going to be fantastic. We'll have those little bits of bacon that'll show up in our soup, but not chunks of it. What I'm going to add now is all of the classic vegetables that we use for literally any soup that we make. I have 2 cups of celery, 2 cups of carrots, 2 cups of onions. Okay? All goes in. And I'll tell you where the inspiration of this came from. Our dear friend Marcia, hi Marcia, because I know she's watching. We went to a lovely Christmas musical at her church, and then we went to a fish restaurant and ended up having clam chowder, and oh my word, it was so good. And I thought, you know, I haven't made it for a long time, so I think it's worth making. And how do you like my apron? This came from Marcia as well. Isn't that just special? I love it. All right, so now we're just going to let these just wilt down. And as our vegetables are sauteing here, be sure to season probably, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And I reckon that's a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. I figure this is going to take like maybe 5 to 8 minutes. Now while our vegetables are continuing to soften, I'm going to talk to you about the clams. I really tried to find fresh clams because I like using both. I like using the cans and I like using fresh to go with it as well. But I couldn't find any. I don't know, are they seasonal? I don't know. So what I have done is I have used 3 cans of whole baby clams like this. And then I've drained them. Here I have the juice of those 3 clams. You want to be sure and reserve the juice. You've got a lot of flavor in here. So what we're going to do is add our chicken stock to these veggies. And I'm using 4 cups of chicken stock. And the juice from those clams. And do not put your clams in now. Do not do that. Simply because they'll get tough, they'll overcook. You only put the clams in the last couple of minutes, basically just to warm them. So we're going to let this just simmer, get all of those flavors together. I'm going to add a little bit more salt, not too much, just about like that. A little bit more pepper, just about like that. So we have our chicken stock in there, we have our clam juice in there. Now I'm going to put in 4 cups of diced potatoes. What those potatoes are going to do is give flavor, of course, give great texture, of course, but it's also the starch from the potato is going to help us thicken the soup. But it's not going to be enough to thicken it the way we like it. And I like a chowder to be just thick. I really want it just thick. So in order to accomplish that, we have to make a roux. So over here, on a medium-high heat, I'm going to put in 8 tablespoons or 1 stick of butter. Our butter is melted, and now I'm going to put in a 1/2 cup of flour. Cameraman, let them look at this. See what that did? Now I'm going to take a little bit of our hot liquid, and I'm going to add that. You know, when you don't make something for quite a while, you forget how really easy it is and how incredibly delicious it is, because you are in total control. Do you want more bacon flavor? Do you want no bacon flavor? Do you want to have it with chicken stock? Do you want to have it only with water? Do you not want to use heavy cream because, oh, those calories, you want to use half and half or maybe milk? But you get to do and have it exactly the way you want it. And I love that about cooking. I do. I love that there's not a whole lot of things in life that we can have exactly the way we want it at exactly the time we want it. Well, cooking is one of the things that can happen, okay? Now I'm going to enhance the flavor a little bit more because I'm going to put in some, about 8 ounces of clam juice. Ooh, this is gonna be good, you guys. Now this becomes a personal preference at this time. Some people like all the vegetables to be chunky in there. I do not particularly like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to emulsiate it and get those just broken down into the broth. All right, so I'm going to use this, but if you don't have one of these and you have a blender, go ahead and use that. Or if you just like all the vegetables chunky, that's fine as well. Isn't that beautiful? All of the flavors of the onions, the carrots, the celery are in there, but we don't have all the chunk in there. So this now goes back onto the stove. And now we're going to thicken with the roux. Guys, this is a preference. It just depends on how you like your chowder. If you like it more like a broth type soup, that's fine, but we really like it to be very, very thick. This looks so velvety. Now what I did, that you did not see me do, I like the chunk of the potatoes. So what I did is I just fished out quite a few of them, because even though I don't want all those other vegetables in there, I want the potatoes in there. I'm just adding them back in. All right, the rest of the roux is going in. Now I'm going to add 1 cup of heavy cream. Okay, now for the star of the program. In go all our clams. And here you just want to allow them to cook for maybe just a couple of minutes, not very long. You're really just warming them through. Well, we are about as ready as we're ever going to get. We have a stormy, stormy day out there and a beautiful pot of clam chowder. Now what I did is I just topped it with a little bit of celery, not celery, I topped it with a little bit of parsley. It just gives it a nice, beautiful look. and a nice fresh flavor. Ooh, this looks good, you guys. There. So, I get to take the first taste. And cameraman gets the whole bowl afterwards. Yep, it's right. It's just right. I don't need to add any more flavors to it. It's got plenty of seasoning. I love the freshness of the parsley at the very end. I really do love that. So, I hope if you are having a cold and stormy day or night, and you are in the throes of winter, that you'll think about this recipe, because I think it'll be perfect for your family. So with that being said, I'm going to leave ingredients below. I'm going to ask you to please subscribe, because we really appreciate it when you do, and the little notification button will tell you when we come back. So many blessings to you. Have a great rest of your night, and we are going to turn on a good movie and have clam chowder and just snuggle in for the night. Thank you. Bye.